Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at the Cross and Anchor Conference, online, digital, it's happening. And we are so grateful to be a part of it. My name is Trace Garner, and I'm here with Kevin, who's actually behind a camera right now, Kevin Daughtry, and we are the directors at Yellowbox Creative. Yellowbox is a nonprofit creative agency that partners with churches and nonprofits and individuals to help develop creativity within the local church, help build teams, and help execute on creative services. So if you are, wherever you are in the process of church, wherever you are in the organization of church, we would love to help be a resource to you, help you out, help grow your team, find the next step. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So we're here to help all of those, help out with all of those needs there. Specifically for this event, like I mentioned, we've been able to help out with production, and we have the honor here of also getting to kind of tell a little bit more of what's on our heart and what we see for the future of creativity. And the topic that Yellowbox and myself want to bring to you guys today is titled, "Your Creativity Cannot Sustain You." Now, this isn't necessarily something that we traditionally talk about, that we traditionally would dive into. Yellowbox, we want to be a resource, something that you can leave here taking away something, having practical steps to better your team and to better your church and better your organization. But Yellowbox has seen something happen. I personally have started to see something happen that I want to address, something that we've seen happen in the creative team that we want to bring to light, and we want to make obvious for everyone to say, hey, you're not alone in this. So we've had the privilege of, Yellowbox has had the privilege of building processes, right? We get this unique perspective when we visit churches. We get to come in as an outside voice, it's funny because Kevin and I say this all the time. We walk into an organization and say some things that a lot of people that are in that organization have been saying for a long time, but just because we're an outside voice, it resonates a little differently. We've been able and invited into church teams to help build teams and build volunteer structures and how can you get volunteers more involved and how can you get staff more excited. And we've also been able to work on some really special projects with nonprofits and churches across the globe. We've been an incredible partner to ARC for a while and helped churches launch all across the world. And so I feel like Yellowbox, since the past 4 years that we've been really offering services to churches, has had a really great litmus test on something and has a really great idea of what the church needs and what our experience build from there. And one of the things that we notice, and one of the things that rings true no matter where we go, is that none of these processes, none of these team building exercises, and none of the actionable steps and checklists that we make matter unless there is an active, interested, and obedient walk with the Lord, with that team and in that organization. So again, creatives, I'm kind of talking directly at you because I know for myself as a creative, a lot of the time I look to God asking, God, I want to be more creative. I want to be the most creative. I want to have the best ideas walking into this next meeting. Maybe I want to have the best ideas at my job if I have a full-time job and I'm just serving. But I want to be the most creative. And even Yellowbox, we say we should be the most creative if we're connected to the Creator. So why does sometimes it doesn't feel like that? Why does it sometimes feel like our closeness to God doesn't equate to the level of creativity that we're producing? Well, there's a point here that sometimes I think that what we're expecting is similar to this analogy. Have you ever, and maybe you haven't, but I remember when I first started reading the Bible, I did that classic little thing where I opened the Bible and I flipped it open and I pointed and I said, God, I need to hear from you. New Testament, flip open, bah! This better apply to me, right? And so I was kind of looking for fruit, and I was looking for a word from God by going to something that was very true and pure and rooted, the Bible, but I wasn't using the space I wasn't using my time. I wasn't actually trying to dive into a relationship with the Lord. And I feel like there's some kind of power, there's some sort of parallel here to creativity and expecting something from God when you're close to Him. So the fruit that you can measure is the room that God gives you in your heart and when you're with Him. So instead of expecting these grand ideas to come to you when you're spending time with the Lord, which can happen, one of the things I want to build perspective on is expecting and knowing that He's going to make room in your heart so that you can be creative, creating that space. Because the creativity part still takes practice, right? We're kind of expecting for that like miracle moment, that open the Bible, throw your finger in the Word and expect that to just speak right to you, which I'm not saying it can't, but I'm just saying that the creativity part takes practice. How many of you have an incredibly creative, how many of you have a wonderful idea, or maybe a few really great ideas that you just haven't started? Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're too busy. Maybe you're expecting your life to slow down. And by the way, I'm talking to myself here. I know I make myself incredibly busy. I just became a new father, so I expect somehow I'm expecting life to slow down. But I got to keep reminding myself that I can't do this. I can't have these expectations that these ideas that I have are just going to happen. I need to get room in my head and in my heart. And I need to let God expand the space in my mind and in my heart. And then by doing that, that will start to follow in my day, and I'll have more time in my day because I've created space in my heart and in my head. It starts to set your priorities straight a little bit, right? In Ephesians 3:20, it says, now this is a prayer to the Ephesians, right? So it says, now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that can happen in us. So it's talking about the immeasurable greatness and goodness of God that we can imagine in His power, all happening within us. I used to picture myself as this jar, that anything I did or that I really treasured, it was being put into this jar. And so there was a finite space. So whenever I wanted to be more creative, to go to the Lord felt like I was putting something else in that jar, taking up more space, and somehow tricking me to think that there was less space for creativity or there was less space for other things that I liked. When in reality, that jar doesn't even exist. Those are boundaries put on me by myself or maybe by the world. That jar never exists. That seeking a relationship with Jesus or seeking time with the Lord gets rid of that jar. You're not bound by all those different things. And the Lord really opens up your heart, opens up your mind, and allows you to be creative in a new way. There's no boundaries. But as a creative, I think it would be a loss for you to think that your self-awareness, that your relevancy of knowing what's going on, what's cool in the world, maybe your wokeness is a form of spirituality or a form of being close to God. When in reality, what we need is a true and real relationship with Jesus, where we're asking Him and seeking Him for space so that we can be what He's called us to be, so that we can be creative. Because what you need to know leaving here is that we need you to be creative. Not we like Yellowbox. Not we, but we like the church. We need you to be creative. The world needs you to be creative. People, your neighborhood, your family needs you to be creative. Maybe you're somebody here who has an incredibly strong relationship with the Lord, insane discipline, waking up every morning, 5:30, prayer closet for 2 hours, crush a book in the afternoon. But what my call or what my ask to you would be is to help those around you. Lend a helping hand to your creative team and tell them that Start from where I've said, work backwards. Tell them that we need them. We need them to be creative. And so to go to the Lord, to find space in their heart so that they can find the time and find the space to be creative. Thank you guys for tuning in, for being here, for listening. I hope, again, that this touches you, that this reaches you, that this maybe gives you a new perspective that says, oh, okay, here we go. It's time. I need to make a change. I need to prioritize some things. I need to see making time with the Lord as making room for me to be creative, and not necessarily saying when I go to the Lord, I'm going to get some grandiose, beautiful idea. But He's going to give me the space to work out those things, right? I hope you find that time, and I hope you find that relationship there in the community and in the church. If you are interested at all in knowing more about Yellowbox, please reach out to us. hello@yellowbox.co is our email. We're also on social media, of course, so @HelloYellowbox. And just reach out and say, yo, I think y'all are great. Let's talk. We can talk about anything that we've just said here, or like I said at the beginning, maybe you're a church that's planning, maybe you are a creative that's on a church team, maybe you're a church that's been around for 20 years, or an organization that's been around for 20 years, and you're saying, hey, things are different now. How can I make my message more relevant? How can I present myself here? And we want to help you walk through that journey together. And lastly, we want to thank Pastor Josh and Emily and Cross and Anchor Church for putting on this event. What you're doing in the city is incredible. What you're doing in Detroit is incredible, and we are just so grateful to be a part of it. And so I hope you're enjoying all the content going on here at Cross and Anchor Conference 2020. It's been one crazy year, and we'll see you next year.